All right, let's look at the word modesty. What does modest mean? First Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. So let's look at the context. Context is everything. Let's back up one verse. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety. Now, what's the opposite of modest? Not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. What's the context of the word modest there? It's price, it's costly array, gold, pearls, braided hair, your hair's all done up fancy. This is talking about expensive clothing. Expensive clothing is not a sin, but you're vain and you're immodest if you dress very costly items. You're dressed with lots of jewelry and you're dressed with your hair all done up just so, and it costs a lot of money. What does God says? That's not godliness. That's flat. That's flashy. It's not anything to do with the sinfulness. We would just call it sin if someone's not covering their body. If a woman is trying to look sexy, then she's sinning. A woman should do that for her husband only. If you're out trying to look sexy and you know you are, and you know if you're doing it, no one has to tell you, then you're sinning. It has nothing to do with modesty. You're just sinning. Modesty means modest. Now, let's use the word and look at it in a dictionary. Webster's 1828 dictionary. You can use any dictionary. I like this one better. It's not as dumbed down as some of the newer ones. It has a bigger vocabulary than a lot of them. Modest, adjective, properly restrained by a sense of propriety, hence not forward or bold, not presumptuous or arrogant, not boastful. And there's other definitions. Let's go back to modesty as an adverb, not boldly, not arrogantly or presumptuous, with due respect. Modesty is a noun, that lowly temper which accompanies a moderate estimate of one's own worth and importance. So when you're talking about modesty here, it's talking about not bold, arrogant, proud. That's basically the idea of modesty. It's not arrogant, it's not flashy, and it's humble. So the opposite of these things would say it's humble. And what does the Bible go back to? The Bible is talking about shamefacedness and sobriety. So they're sober, to not go around like a loud fool, not with braided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Those would be bold, arrogant things, right? Costly. So a woman should dress soberly, shamefaced, and you could say humble. It doesn't mean you have to go around plain and homely, but it does mean you shouldn't be trying to be flashy and catch attention to yourself. That would be arrogant and bold, and that would be immodest. So let's look at it the right way. It has nothing to do with whether you're showing your body off or not. If you're dressed in stuff that's too tight, and we all know there's a lot of women who feel like they're dressed modestly, or at least they think they are, because they're covered, but what they're wearing is skin tight. That would be sinful. It's not talking about modesty. If you're trying to attract attention to yourself, then that would be immodest. If by showing off your body too much skin or skin tight clothes, that would be immodest because that's bold, arrogant, and it's costly array also. If you're wearing flashy clothes, that costs a lot of money to get attention to yourself. So let's look at those things. And women, men too, think about what you're doing. Are you trying to dress expensive to look good, to show yourself off, to be flashy, to be arrogant, bold? We should all be humble. Think about what our position is in Christ. As a believer, we know we're not better than other people. We just are believers. We believe what Jesus has done for us. That's the difference. We're not better than other people because of that. We're not smarter, wiser, or better, good people. We're just people that have believed and we're forgiven because we believed. So let's be humble and try to reach other people too so they can become believers. Being arrogant, proud, is not going to attract people to want to be like you, to be like Christ. So be like Christ, and you'll be attracted to people for the good reasons, for being humble. You can bring them to Christ.